This is a fan-generated show. If you'd like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our new Rumble channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thrilled to announce the release of my new book, Obama's True Legacy: How He Transformed America. There's a reason why Mike Huckabee calls it a ferocious and chilling read. Order it now at Amazon.com or at FrontPageMag.com.
Good evening and welcome back to another episode of the Glazov Gang. I'm Annie Cyrus, sitting in for the one and only Dr. Jamie Glazov. I do have a very special guest with me this evening. He's actually the first timer here on Glazov Gang, but I have worked with him for many years. Before I do bring him on, let's do what we always do right here at Glazov Gang. Just a reminder, we are a fan-generated show. We're here because of you, and for that, we're grateful. But remember, we always do need your help, especially today. Things are getting a little ugly. We're definitely being censored as always everywhere, and I will say everywhere, because including Rumble. We're barely growing on Rumble, so make sure to go to our Rumble channel, to our YouTube channel, subscribe, click that little bell thing so you get notifications. And of course, if you want to get behind us financially, jamieglazov.com is where you can go and make a donation if possible. With that being said, it is absolutely a pleasant night when I have Michael Lauber on with us. He's the host of the Insurrection, a program that you can find everywhere, but I would just go with the fact that they are on patriot.tv every Saturday and Sunday, and we'll get to ask Michael where else you can watch it. Welcome to the program, Michael.
Greetings, fellow thought criminals. How are you doing today, Annie?
Fantastically terrified. Literally fantastically terrified. Okay, I feel great about how the debate went. And then I am terrified how badly it's being twisted and lied about. How do you feel about it?
I don't think people are really buying the spin, and that's why there's such a desperate effort. Something I just noticed earlier today, actually, was that we're now several days in, following the debate, and YouTube is still inserting debate commentary into people's feed, and it's all analysis of how Kamala won. So if they're trying to sell the story, that usually means it's not true. And, I don't think, like, when it comes to both Kamala or Trump's camp, I don't think it really moved the needle very much for either of them. But where it does look like it made an impact is with a lot of the middle of the road normie voters, the so-called nonpartisan people. There I looked through a couple different focus groups, and 60% in roughly 60%, 60 in one, and I think 62 in the other, thought that Trump won the debate. And when with little deeper analysis, when they talked to people, it was because Kamala didn't present a plan. They thought she talked in circles. They realized she wasn't answering questions. She was just saying whatever she wanted to say. And even to the normies, to the people in the middle, they saw that it was a 3-on-1 debate. That this wasn't really a debate. This is Trump versus the world. I think you put it really well on another program. You said Trump was on trial. And I think that is exactly what we saw, especially with these fake fact checks. That's another item we can talk about later that's kind of blowing up in their face now, that people are looking into some of these and realizing that the moderators were the liars, not Trump. And the fact that they didn't call Kamala on anything, including the more obvious misstatements she made. Some of them, you might have to track down and do a little research. But there are a few things that she said during this debate that if they were going to fact check people, they should have done that even-handedly and gone after some of her blatant lies on stage there, or even just pursuing her for ignoring the questions, probably 90% of the time.
And that is exactly how she built her career, by dodging the question, diverting the question, not answering the question. But before we dive deep into the actual discussion, the entire conversation, here's an interesting thought, or more like terrifying thought, Michael. We talk, and when I say we call ourselves, freedom fighters, journalists, investigative journalists, reporters, hosts, anchors, whatever we're called. Every time we talk about election, presidential race especially, we emphasize on we need to talk to those who haven't decided, those who don't know what they're doing yet, those undecided, yada, yada, yada. Isn't it interesting and terrifying? It's 2024. And last, I want to say, I'm going to come with a straight face, last 3, being 12 years, last 3 terms of presidential race. sitting here today and thinking there is even a single adult, I'm talking 27 and over age, single adult in America that still haven't decided what to do with their vote terrifies me.
Yeah. Well, I do think a percentage of the people that say they're undecided really aren't. That there's a sort of false perception that you're undecided or you're not a party affiliated person. I mean, I get why some people do that because they're frustrated with one or both parties. But I think a lot of people say that because it's a way to kind of pretend you're the smartest person in the room, that you're carefully evaluating both sides. Where in reality, I mean, if you're on the fence between where the Republicans and the Democrats are today, you're not paying attention. Yeah, even, and I'm saying that like literally, like even if you're somebody that's way on the left and is all for, transing our kids and uh support supporting Palestine, or whatever all the other nonsense the left has, hitched their wagon to. Um, Even if you're that person, you're not really undecided. You're just trying to pretend you're in the middle and you're being careful and thoughtful and evaluating. I mean, there's definitely people on the right that are, not Republicans, that they're not conservatives, or they're not part of the America First movement, but they know they're on the right. They know they're not going to be voting for Democrats. They're not undecided in the sense that it's portrayed at, and same as on the other side. But yeah, I don't know how you could be living through the inflation, the invasion, and everything else that we've seen over the last 3.5 years and not have a very, very firm convictions about the direction the country needs to go. Anyone who lived through 4 years under Trump knows it was much better off than we are today. It should be no contest, blatantly obvious. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. The state of the economy, job growth, manufacturing growth, we're energy independent. So you could not like the mean tweets and not like some of the other policy things that Trump did, and you can disagree with him on social issues, but it's not even a contest of whether the state of America, the state for our people, was far better off when Trump was in office than it has been over the last 3.5 years.
Great segue. Let's just start right there. First question of the debate. She couldn't even answer that question, could she? Again, I understand. I'm very aware she didn't answer 90% of questions, but this was perfectly set up. Like
Yeah.
literally, the moderators set up this stage for Kamala to come in and promote herself, right? She couldn't. This is the biggest red flag I can find on any of these debates, that you hand her the perfect question, right?
Yeah.
Even her level of evil and lying methods couldn't just straight up say, Shh, of course we're much better off today.
Exactly. Well, according to my notes from watching the debate, she completely dodged answering any part of the first three questions. Didn't even address them. Maybe repeating part of it back to him, but no even attempt to answer them. And you're right; these were tailor made for her. A lot of them. I mean, by my recollection, they committed one random act of journalism throughout the entire debate and asked Kamala Harris a real question. Let me see, what was it? They went back and, well, I'll say they could too. They did ask her about being better off now than you were 4 years ago. And oh, where did I put this down?
Bottom
They
left
asked
to the corner.
probably. Uh,
Honestly, the whole time I thought that's where it felt like that's where she is on the stage.
they
Bottom
call
left to the corner.
Yeah. Oh, they did call her on flipping positions and ask a question about that later into the debate. But yeah, she got two real questions, and the rest of it was fluff for her to try to make her points, get her jabs in on Trump. And even that, she kind of failed pretty miserably at, if you ask me. I mean, she got a few good zingers in there. She did get Trump like a little off his game and rattled through part of it. But I also think he was getting frustrated because he wasn't just fighting her. It was the moderators too. And it was also, again, very clearly biased questions. He was on trial. Her, they were trying to build up.
Yes, and here's a few things I personally want to make sure to zoom in on, considering a lot of other outlets are not, probably because it's not close to their heart, but it is to mine, Glazov Gang, and yours. The very first thing I want to point out is the fact And I understand President Trump found an opportunity to bring it up. But the fact that this whole debate went on without a single question about the situation with Iran and Iran nuclear deal
Hmm.
should say everything. Anyone who's listening to this day, I don't think there are that many Americans who are not aware of the dangers of Iran towards America and are not aware of the dangers of these indirect negotiations. Michael, nothing, no questions about Iran.
No, and you're right. Yeah, Trump did bring this up, and I wish he would have done a little bit better job articulating that the Biden-Harris regime unfroze money and gave more money directly to Iran, and I think that had direct influence over the actions that we've seen against Israel and other terrorism in and around the Middle East. Um, but yeah, you're right. They wanted to ignore that. Even with the Afghanistan withdrawal, they didn't want to touch the $80 billion worth of weaponry that we left there and how now that's being used to commit other acts of terrorism around the Middle East. And it will almost certainly show up in other places too, considering whose hands it's in now. But yeah, you're right. They don't want to discuss that. They don't want to discuss Iran. They don't want to discuss their influence and how opening up these backing off of the trade sanctions and other things has also allowed Iran to continue to fund terrorism and even the blatantly obvious stuff like they're sending drones up to Russia that are being used to kill people in Ukraine. Who knows where else these things are going to, or if they're going to show up, on our border with Mexico now and be flown into some poor town in South Texas or California or wherever else. These are things that matter that they don't want to discuss. If you bring them up, you're just a racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe,
Mhm.
Islamophobe.
Of course we are, but I'm glad you just mentioned the Russia Ukraine. I think one of the biggest pluses, or I don't know, points I would give President Trump as far as his answers go, was when, even though they tried to force him to pick a side, do you want Ukraine to win this war? Do you want? He is, stated that he wants this to end.
Yeah.
My take from it, number one, he's very well aware these kind of wars will never have a winner. He's aware of that. Secondly, he knew they're gonna twist this answer no matter what, which now I see a lot of leftist media twisting it as you see. He is pro-Russia. He's pro-Russia. He doesn't want Ukraine to win. But the fact that he did stick to his guns and made the best possible statement about the scenario, big plus. Absolutely a point from my end.
Yeah, you're exactly right because there is no winner in this conflict, and neither nation is our friend. Very, very clearly, um, they want to pretend that somehow Ukraine is this bastion of democracy and freedom across Europe, but we all know it isn't. It's a plutocratic corruptocracy, if I can make up a term there. It's basically a nation run on corruption, and this has been ongoing for well over a decade now. Barack Obama essentially ran a coup within that nation in 2014. They've had very corrupt leadership. It's been a cesspool for money laundering, bribes, and favoritism, as we saw with the Biden crime family and plenty of others. Pelosi, Mitt Romney, and others have relatives that are in positions just like our favorite crackhead and Ukrainian energy expert Hunter Biden, put into positions they were wildly unqualified for, paid exorbitant amounts of money, and this is to buy access and to buy silence. So everybody knows exactly what's going on there. Russia, and that doesn't make Russia the good guy either. Both countries can be the bad guy, and we can still want the conflict to end just for the loss of life, and so the suffering of the people ends. Not to mention the cascade effect by having this ongoing war there. It affects other people in Europe, both for their fuel prices, food prices, everything else. Neither nation is a good guy. They both have some legitimate points, even the reasons for Putin going in. So we want to be real. We know that the government of Ukraine was abusive towards some of the people in the Donbass region, which is why Putin says he got involved. So they both have some legitimacy to why they got involved there, but that doesn't make either one of them the good guy. And yeah, Trump masterfully answered that, didn't fall for the trap. But you're right. Now they're saying, oh, well, he didn't say Zelensky's the good guy and all hail Ukraine. So he truly must be a Russian agent. And come
Yeah,
on, give
but
me a
then,
break.
but then they won't emphasize, nor will they fact check the truth, many truths said by President Trump, but this one of Putin just endorsed Kamala publicly. So who's the
Yes.
pro-Russia guy here? I mean, let's not misgender her, because generally genders don't exist, but when you are going to run based on your gender to be the first female president, then we definitely don't want to misgender that one, right? Another hypocrisy has nothing to do with the debate, but I have noticed how suddenly the left's narrative has flipped from where it doesn't matter, right? But then now it matters so much. We're going to have our first female or woman president. I'm like, didn't we all say who cares?
Yeah, they couldn't even tell us what a woman was a year ago. And now all of a sudden that's what's necessary to save, in air quotes, our democracy. It matters when they want it to matter, but if somebody brings up some kind of uh information that casts this their narrative in a negative light, then suddenly you're the sexist or whatever for pointing out something that's blatantly obvious. But yeah, it's just such a, if they had real values and if they didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all.
Well, I just want to let our audience know we don't have a script. Me and Michael were just talking, right? But I think we have worked behind the scene on this fight for so long together. We're literally just give each other a perfect segue of, oh, that's where I was going to go with this. But again, I'm gonna step aside from the debate for a minute. We'll have time. We'll get back to it. But by the ways, I have a question. With this formula of moving forward, are we gonna, Lord forbid, she becomes the president? Is she gonna be the Madam Cis President or Cis Madam President or just Madam President?
I think she's going to be whatever's convenient at the time. That's if you learn anything about Kamala Harris's record, it's that it's a matter of convenience when she needs to be for something against something or act a certain way or switch her black scent back on if she's in a Southern black church or up in Harlem. She'll do whatever is necessary at the time to fit their narrative and placate to the media and her base.
Yes,
So
agreed. And back to the segue. Now, I'm going to play my usual game of maybe my English isn't good enough to understand meaning. So I'm going to ask you, Michael, talk about values. How is it possible, by definition of word, for someone not to change their values, however, change their opinion and point of view on subjects? How does that work?
Well, if it were an honest conversation, I would say that it could work as you learn more information about a subject. You could change your position, um, but that isn't what she means. She put herself between like a rock and a hard place by sticking to this "my values haven't changed" statement rather than just answering the original question about fracking when it was brought up. Um, because you could say that, yeah, my values didn't change. I still think, just to pretend Kamala Harris's point of view, I don't believe this, but she could say, I still believe fracking is a bad idea. However, where our country is right now, energy independence is more important. I've since learned this isn't nearly as harmful to the environment as I once believed, and it is something that we need just to keep our economy going. Like she could say that and say her values hadn't changed, but her opinion on it didn't. But no, she doesn't want to give explanations or any firm answers until you corner her like a rat. Because she doesn't want to commit to a position just so she can flip-flop later. I think this is the same reason why she wouldn't put any campaign policy positions out on her website until just a few days before the debate. It's because she doesn't want questions about it. She doesn't want to be committed to anything. She wants to be able to talk out of both sides of her mouth for as long as humanly possible, placate both sides. And keep in mind, fracking is one good example, but a better example is Israel Hamas right now. She wants to be able to placate both sides so they'll all turn out at the poll for these, literal terrorist supporting Hamas sympathizers that are over at the college campuses right now. But she also wants the Jewish vote. She wants the American Jewish people to come out and support her in the polls. They vote, roughly 80% for Democrats anyway. But a lot of them were either going to sit at home or vote for Trump just because of how badly the Biden Harris regime has done handling the situation in Israel since October 7th. So it's the same reason. She just wants to talk out of both sides of her mouth, doesn't want to commit to anything.
Yes, true. And to the point that you just brought up about Hamas and Israel,
Mhm.
I she tried to keep a straight face and say it's a lie because President Trump said she hates Israel. And she
Yes.
tried to say, and she then claimed, again, she wasn't being fact checked at all, but then she claimed that her entire career she has supported Israel and Jewish people. And then you go look at her record. No, she didn't. She still isn't.
Yes.
And it became the highlight on all, self-hating Jewish websites next day
Yeah.
that she will fight for us. And again, comes back to specifically, especially the conflict in Middle East. I'm not going to just say Hamas and Israel. The
Yeah.
conflict in Middle East, because, you know, we sometimes have to, but the narrative isn't Hamas versus Israel or the conflict of Gaza border. This is Israel versus all Islamic countries. Please
Yeah.
register that. I know our audience are very well educated on this very topic, but that conflict has been proven not to be resolvable with any possible peace treaty and, I don't know, a two-state solution. So I just want to be very clear. By action, through resume, President Trump did help the situation in Middle East in favor of the Jewish people of Israel.
Yeah.
Fact, proven, in place. So please don't buy into the whole, I love Israel. I love Israel. My whole career. I've been helping Jewish people. Please don't buy into it. Go do your homework. Do your study. I mean, it's pretty simple for President Trump. The proof for President Trump is right there, right? Remember when everybody hated him for moving the embassy? Ooh,
Hmm.
bad Trump. That's proof right there by action.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly to the point. Trump can point to his actions for his dedication to Israel and the Israeli people and his willingness to stand for their defense. Whereas her actions speak much louder than her empty words. What her and Biden have done well in office has, if anything, put the Israeli people and the nation of Israel in more damage or in harm's way and in a position where they could suffer even more damage. Threatening to withhold weaponry, threatening to sanctions and other things. Um, Even this Gaza flotilla pier that fell apart and drifted off the sea and cost us all whatever it was, $320 million for their mistake. This was direct actions to basically put Americans out there in Gaza as human shields for them to use. Now, luckily, that thing fell apart, literally and figuratively. But yeah, the actions that they've taken have been much more pro-Palestinian than they have pro-Israel, and she knows it. She can trot out her husband, who happens to be Jewish, and pretend all she wants. But as you said, actions speak far louder than your words do.
Yeah, and one of the simplest, again, just as a reminder to our audience, or maybe somebody's passing by and clicks on this video. Listen, one of the moves President Trump made was when President Trump told the um, Palestinian Authority that you're not getting any more aid until you stop your pay per slave program. What's that? When Palestinian Authority gives Palestinian families money for losing their son or husband in, blowing themselves up and killing Jews, or those who have been arrested for terrorist attempts in Israeli prisons. And he stood by that. One of the first moves by Biden was to release that money and start giving aid, regardless of Palestinian authorities still providing money for the pay per slave program. Right there. How many lives did President Trump save? Countless. How many lives did Biden help take away? Countless. Right
Yeah.
there. One simple move. I think that's simple. It's a no. No's are for free.
Yeah. Again, it makes perfect sense when you're incentivizing murder and terrorism. It isn't just the payouts that they made. It isn't just the money. It's the incentive. It's that you have other people that decide, hey, maybe this is a good way to support my family forever. I'm going to go uh get my 72 versions, go blow up a bus full of kids, and my family will profit for it. You know what? Maybe they'll even name a grade school after me, since that's something else they like to do over there in Palestine that we ignore is when you walk in, it's not murals of their athletes or their academic achievements. It's murals to honor people that blew themselves up or took other actions to murder Israelis or other people around the world. They hold those people up as their heroes. That's who they want their kids to aspire to be. It's sick. I think it was Golda Meir said that there'll never be peace until the Palestinians learn to how is it phrased?
There will be no peace until they learn to cherish life as much as we do.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of something along the lines of
Or the one that says they love death as much as we love life.
Yeah, something along those lines. Is learn to love their children more than they hate the Israelis.
Oh, that'll never happen. Sorry, not under Islam. Remember, you
Yeah,
have the right to literally kill your child for not being good enough of a Muslim. Islam comes first. Sorry.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, until that changes, there'll never be peace.
Well,
There's two.
peace will never be involved with Islam. Remember, my very typical phrase, there is no P in Arabic language. And remember, Allah only speaks Arabic. Maybe we can find a different name for it, but for now, we are due for our sponsor break. So hold your thoughts, Michael. Our lovely audience, don't go anywhere. We will literally be back in a minute to continue this discussion after these messages.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took My Pillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented My Pillow to bring you the best pillow in history, My Pillow 2.0. Just like all of you, I never imagined that My Pillow could get any better. That's why I haven't changed it in nearly 20 years. Then I heard about a revolutionary new technology, and I knew I had to bring it to you all. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
The My Pillow 2.0 is cooler and softer than the last My Pillow. It is so comfortable to sleep on at night. I look forward to going to bed, and I wake up well rested in the morning.
Sleep is all about temperature and height. My Pillow 2.0's patented adjustable fill is going to give you the exact individual support you need from your head to your bed. And now here's where it gets even better. We've all experienced those temperature-related sleep interruptions where you get too hot, you toss and turn, you flip your pillow over to the cool side. Well, all that's gone with my brand new My Pillow 2.0 cooling fabric that's made with temperature-regulating thread.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Glazov Gang. And yes, if you would like to continue supporting the Glazov Gang, which is a fan-generated show, one of the ways is to go to mypillow.com or mystore.com. Make sure to use promo code GG21, and that is GG Glazov Gang 21. You will receive great discounts, and this program will receive credit from your purchases. Also, if I may, this is what Jamie always does, but I'm sitting in. So if you like handmade, one-of-a-kind resin arts made by yours truly, head over to lutfstudio.com. It's just a studio. There's no S. lutfstudio.com and pick up a piece of art or two or five. Holidays are coming in, and Christmas gifts that are one of a kind normally tend to be the best. And that way you will be supporting me, my artwork, and also credit back to Glazov Gang. And Michael, you know what I was thinking? Since we're, talking about products and all that, and I know this originally came from President Trump, so it's his idea. So while President Trump is planning to send Kamala a MAGA hat because she's stealing all of his policies, I was thinking I should send one of my hat and you should send one of yours. I'm going to send mine to Kamala. You send yours to Walls because apparently they're gun owners. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I was a little surprised. Well, I knew Walls was because he's used them in some of these old campaign videos. That he's one of those pro gun control people that thinks, like Biden said before, that double barrel shotgun is all you need. Well, let's be real here. The Second Amendment isn't about hunting ducks or deer, or it's about protecting us from tyranny, foreign invasion, or even from a Haitian invasion that's eating all the cats and dogs and ducks in the neighborhood.
The moment
Um,
you said dogs, I'm like, right now, pets need guns apparently to protect themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm only 30 miles away from Springfield. I'm watching my dog every time he's outside right now. I don't want him to go disappearing. Um, but yeah, it's a lie. Well, again, we talk about the moderators calling Trump on his lies, which most of these were the moderators lying about it, or different interpreting the facts very differently. But Kamala Harris's campaign already put out a statement saying that within the first 100 days, if Congress wouldn't act for whatever gun control she wants, which again is somewhat unspecified, that she would use executive action for nationwide gun confiscation. Well, what do you think that means? They're going to be she's going to be coming for your guns. There's no getting around it. She just doesn't want the middle of the road voters to know that right now, because most people are not far leftists that want to eliminate private ownership of firearms. There's probably some people in the middle that are pro gun control to some level, but definitely certainly not to the level that she's going to go.
Well, here's the thing. No. I wasn't sending mine and asking you to send yours to Walls because I didn't believe that they are gun owners. The point was, it's the same hypocrisy.
Yeah, of
They have these fences around their fancy mansions, but we shouldn't build the wall.
course not.
They are gun owners, but me and you, we shouldn't have guns. The level, it's like they are admitting that the moment she said that and the attitude in her face, because that's the thing, we're going to go there in a minute of the words were one thing that night, but the entire body language was a whole different game. Like, I was paying more attention to both body languages more than I was paying attention to the words, especially because whatever Kamala was saying, it's a lie. So I wasn't really paying much attention, except when it was funny. Like, I have a plan. I have a plan. I have a plan. Do you have a
Yes.
plan? I have a plan. I hope you have a plan because I'm copying your plan. Do you have a plan? I'm like, okay, we got it. You have a plan. We know you have a plan. Your plan is to destroy America. Hello, we're all aware of your plan. I don't
Yeah.
know the details. Well, I can guess the details. But other than that, I was paying attention. The look on her face was like, by the way, me and Walls, bringing Walls into the discussion. Until then, there was no talk of Walls, but we
Yeah.
bring Walls in when it comes to the most sensitive topic. We're gun owners. I'm like, okay, then why are you coming, or why are you trying to come after mine? The
Yeah.
hypocrisy is what got me the most.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. It's the same game they always play. It's one thing when they want to get elected, they'll go the the hypocrisy is unending. But when they're once, if we're unfortunate enough that they do win in November, it'll be open season on it. And as she said, she's not afraid to use executive orders. She's not really concerned with democracy and allowing a vote. It's whatever she needs at the time. She's a little wannabe 10-pot dictator, just like Biden is. And if anything, I think she's going to be worse. I mean, we know she's from California. We already know who's behind her. Things are going to get very scary.
Agreed. Okay. Because I want to make sure to talk about actually, looking into the future stuff. Let's get close to concluding on the debate. So I'm going to do the typical, right? What was if you would, I know it's a tough one, but you would rate your most impressive moments of this debate for fairly both candidates, Kamala and Trump?
That's a good question. I mean, I know what my answer is for Trump. I'm most impressive for Kamala. Honestly, just that she got through the debate without like turning into a cackling hyena, or just with a giant word salad. I think she performed way better than I thought she would. There weren't any moments where she just came off like she usually does. Whether that's being like laughing uncontrollably or just talking in these nonsense circles about how The future is tomorrow, which is the next day, blah, 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 blah. But for Trump, I think his closing statement was by far my favorite moment. And honestly, this is something I wish he would have done more throughout the debate. If he would have been like, called her out, like, you've been in office 3.5 years. How come you haven't done any of the things you're talking about now for the last 3.5 years? If you know inflation is the problem, why haven't you guys addressed it? I think he should have been hammering that mantra throughout the debate. Look, well, you've got all these plans now. How come you're not implementing right this second? You're literally holding the country hostage until they vote you in for another 4 years. Is that your game? And then also just talking about, again, that his vision for America, vision for the future, restoring things. And again, we already know he can. We had huge economic growth, giant boost to manufacturing. Incomes went up. Inequality decreased by more under President Trump than it has under any president in prior U.S. history. So we know what to expect there. His closing was great. Hers, I don't really think I can point to a moment, but I'll be honest, she was way better prepared than I thought she would be for this debate. There was no moment where she just inhaled her old shoe, putting her foot in her mouth.
Agreed. I would say for her, actually, the most impressed I was when she, with a full force of body language in a very firm way, said, I am not Joe Biden. Knowing what happens behind the scene with these people, I think that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It wasn't a don't compare me to say. Very firm. She took that state of I am me. And we all know she's a puppet. With President Trump, tough one, but I want to say probably when he said, for me, it was impressive for the fact that it fit so perfect. It was a double slap for me when it said, by the way, where is our president? Do we even have a president? That was the most impressive, quick thinking on his end. I was like, and that's the thing. That's a man you want in power, right? You want him to represent your nation. His mind is sharp, his tongue is sharp, and I don't mean sharp as a mean sharp, like working fast. And that was the part. However, I've done this on some of the other programs until we got to today. I have to do this, especially because right here on Glazov Gang, we have covered this tragedy many times with many experts. But I do, again, want to give a shout out to President Trump for making sure to name Ashley Babbitt by name and pointing out the tragedy behind what happened to her and how they ended her life. Your last words of wisdom on the debate before we move on to the next topic.
One other thing Trump said was that Biden hates Kamala Harris. And, sure enough, next day, President Biden was out at a fire station. He put on a Trump hat. Now, I think it's probably just because his brain is gelatin and he didn't realize somebody handed him a Trump hat. But, it kind of goes to show you again, like where they are, how disorganized the left is, where they're taking the country versus President Trump, who has a firm vision forward. And I'll be honest, like I've said a gazillion times before now, I think if this election doesn't go our way and President Trump doesn't win, then we will not have a country or an election 4 years from now.
I wish I could disagree with you. I can't. So I will agree with you. And here's where I'm going to go. I have my own thoughts and I will hold them for another time because I think I can literally take the rest of the time of this episode. What are your thoughts on President Trump declining the next debate or any debate until the election?
Well, I'll be honest. They say when you've won the fight, you don't. If the boxer wins a fight, they don't go asking for a rematch. I think it's a combination of that, especially when he's looking at the data afterwards of where the polls have moved, especially with people in the middle. Even if it was only by 10%, he won the fight. 10 to 12% of middle of the road voters thought Trump won and were more likely to vote for Trump. So you don't do a rematch when you won. But also, after seeing the way he was treated there, that this was a 3-on-1 fight, that now there's evidence coming forward. We may have an affidavit from somebody by the end of the day that Kamala Harris was given the questions ahead of time and prepped for this. So if the media is fighting in your opponent's camp, why give them another chance to maybe actually score some points and have a victory that they can then tout from then to the election? So I'm going to say, normally I would like to see as many debates as possible, but given what we've seen, I think President Trump made the right decision that we don't want to create an opportunity for a victory for Kamala Harris in any way, or give them any kind of talking points they can take and then run ad nauseum through their friends in the media from now till November.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a second. I mean, sorry, let me play Democrats advocate for a second here.
Well, same difference.
But it's more clear. Choose your words carefully, right? Okay.
Yes,
so
yes.
here's follow-up question. What do we say to those who are saying, okay, he won the debate, fair and square, good to go, but would this possibly give a reason or opening to the left for another, I don't know, let's say steal, because they have plenty of time to repaint the result, whereas to him going back on the stage of debate and debating would fade away their lies and reawaken people like, oh yeah, he did win. You remember short memories, goldfish.
Yeah.
So what about that point of view?
Well, I mean, there's, I suppose, some truth to that. They can go around and say, oh, President Trump is afraid to go debate Kamala Harris again or whatever. But at the end of the day, you also have to ask yourself, does this actually impact the electorate enough to matter? Or is it going to be more effective for Trump to spend that time out on the campaign trail with people like RFK Jr. and some of these other Democrats that have come over to support his campaign, that are out there making the case that, hey, even if you're a Democrat, even if you only believe in 50% of what Trump is advocating for here, the greater danger right now is the out of control Democrat uniparty in Washington, D.C. I just don't think there's nearly as much to potentially gain from having another debate as there is to potentially lose, especially if they do manage to get him in some kind of gotcha moment, or just have something else happen that they can then run over and over and over again from now till November to try to create whatever message or narrative that they want.
Fair enough. I will just say I was hoping he would agree to one more debate under his terms, where, let's say, Tucker Carlson was one of the moderators.
Yes. I
And
would
we
love to
would
see.
watch Kamala saying, I am done debating. I would have loved to see that, I'll admit. But I respect his decision for not doing any more debates.
Well, I would really love to see something like this in general, where they do bring like a Tucker Carlson, somebody that is on the far right, and let them pick whatever moderator they want. They can have Rachel Maddow herself.
I was just thinking about her. Yes.
Yeah. And, let the, there should be some oversight on the questions, but to have the two moderators actually come up with the questions, know what everything's going to be beforehand. They can even hand them to the candidates. I don't care. But something that is a little bit more like where the base is. And maybe we'll get some real questions out of Kamala Harris. Maybe Tucker would actually ask her something difficult when she just talks in a circle, call her on it, or when she ignores the question completely. I think the fake fact checks are bad no matter what. Because both sides are going to dispute those. They're going to say they're unfair. That's the moderators getting into the fight, which it clearly is. But I would like to see a real debate with real questions from both sides. I don't care if Rachel Maddow tries to ask her gotcha questions to Trump. I think he'll handle that just fine. But I think the minute Tucker asked Kamala Harris a difficult question, she'd start cackling, stammering, stuttering, and she'd just look like a fool. And then she'd blame Tucker Carlson for being a white supremacist, or maybe she'd blame climate change. I'm not sure.
Either way, or cats. It could be a cat's problem now. Okay. I want to go somewhere a little unpopular. As you know, Michael, I like doing that.
Sure.
I just actually released a TikTok on this very topic. One way, of course, just me talking. But I want to go there, and I would, of course, like to have your take on it, because I feel like instead of rallies and debates and policies and websites and all that, we need this, what I'm about to say, way more. And I might be wrong. Again, this is just an unpopular opinion. The fact behind it is real. And that is the truth of the matter is definition of freedom, beauty of freedom. It is absolutely none of my business who you vote for, Michael. And respectfully, it's none of your business who I vote for, right? That's the definition of freedom. Would you agree with
Sure.
that?
Yeah, I think so.
However, I want to point this out. It's not our business who someone else is voting for, but it is our responsibility to have open and civilized discussion about our choices. Instead of relying on Trump to get out there and convince people, instead of trying to bash Kamala to convince people, bottom line is, if I have made up my mind, which I have, I am going to vote for President Trump. I have the responsibility to talk to those who have not decided or have decided for the opposition. I can't force them. I'm not going to be mean to them, but I can have a discussion and inform them of why my decision is what it is based on facts, not emotions. I'm not going to say, personality. It's not related. So where I'm going with this is, can we stop unfriending and boycotting family members and neighbors based on their decision? Let's not do that. At the end of the day, it's our God-given right to vote for whomever we want, and let's respect that while respectfully we try to inform each other. What do you think, Michael?
I think that's a beautiful idea, and it's somewhere where the country used to be. It'd be nice if we could get back to a point like that where we could just have political discussions. But I also really, and again, I do know that there's Trump supporters that will cut off their liberal relatives when they're attacked. But I really do see this as kind of going more the other way than it is from Trump supporters cutting off the left. Now, maybe we shouldn't do it either. But I just don't know that it's not something that's happening equally on both sides. But yeah, it is something that we shouldn't be doing, especially with family or close neighbors, friends, people you've known your whole life. You shouldn't cut them off over a political disagreement. At the same time, a lot of times the issue is they can't have a rational conversation. Like, I know people that have like cut me off on Facebook or whatever over a post. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear anything that's opposed to their political views. They certainly don't want to be exposed to any type of facts or something else that calls something they said into question. Rather than addressing it, they go to the ad hominem attacks. They call you a racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, white supremacist who loves climate change, because they don't want to deal with the facts in the case. I mean, it'd be great if we could get there. I just don't know that we're at the point right now that tempers are too flared at the moment, I think, for a lot of people to back down. Hopefully, after November, once things settle down, once the economy gets back on track, and maybe some of this infighting can stop. It'd be nice if it could. I just don't know that we're at a point where it can right now, realistically.
I believe in willpower. I believe if enough people would decide to do it. I understand it's heated. It's very, and again, as you know, Michael, I've kind of distanced myself from the fire of it because I want to stay rational. I have always tried to stay a freedom-loving person rather than freedom for me, not for them type of thing. But bottom line is we have to all play our role. And even especially after November, actually, Michael, I feel like regardless of the results of November, as Americans, not as Republicans, not as Trump supporters, not as Democrats, as Americans, we have a lot of work to do. Regardless of the result, there is a lot to be done. There might be different tasks that needs to be done, but there's still a lot to do. And I agree. Hopefully, at least after November, we can all calm down a little bit, regroup, reunite, stop rubbing it in each other's face. I honestly, we do that a lot, Michael.
Yeah.
We rub it in their face.
Yeah, there's definitely some gloating that goes on, and I'm sure that's bad. But I guess this is kind of like, maybe I can articulate it a little better this way. When you have one side telling you telling their followers over and over again that the opposition are literal Nazis, then they feel that it's morally justified to cut off even friends and family because, hey, you're part of that Nazi cult. They don't want to actually discuss the problem or discuss the issue. They believe, the opposition, that it isn't a disagreement on facts or policy or even how we should proceed as a country, that a lot of them have been so indoctrinated and brainwashed that they think you're literal evil. Now that isn't to say there aren't some people on the right that act and say those kind of things too. But I think most people on the right, or more like you and I are, do think that these disagreements need to end. I mean, I think there's a few wackos out there that have revealed themselves to me that I do want to separate myself, that I think are legitimately dangerous. But other than that, I'd much rather get along with people, including some of my liberal moonbat relatives that are out there somewhere. It'd be better to be able to enjoy Thanksgiving with them again. But, I do think it is going to take some time for everybody to cool off.
Agreed. Okay, so last question, at least, of I hinted at your program on Saturday and Sundays on Patriot TV, but do tell our audience where can they go to follow you, also your co-host Derek Evans, and catch your show.
Oh yeah, you can find us on Rumble, specifically on the Lou Dobbs Media Rumble channel every Tuesday and Friday. We're hoping to go to 5 nights a week over there here soon, either this coming week or the following. You can find me on Twitter at Real Mike Lauber, and you can find Derek at Derek Evans 4WV on Twitter. And yeah, you can find us over on Patriot TV, the Insurrection. Check us out. We do kind of political commentary. We bring on a lot of guests. We do some topic focused episodes, but we also do a lot of just kind of general commentary on the news and the state of the nation.
Kind of sort of just like what we did right here. And Derek Evans was going to join us, unfortunately, due to conflict of a schedule, but I promise we will have Michael back with Derek Evans in very soon, as soon as we can match the schedules. Okay. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us here. And I should tell you this. You see, I should learn better from Jamie, but here at the Glazov Gang, you can check out whenever you want, but you can never leave. So welcome to the gang.
Perfect. Well, thank you for having me. Looking forward to coming back so we can bring even more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear.
Amen. And to our lovely audience who stayed with us until now, I appreciate you putting up with me while you're used to hearing the brilliance of Dr. Jamie Glazov. He will be back soon with us. Until then, make sure to go to jamieglazov.com. That is jamieglazov.com. Support us by subscribing, sharing the videos, or possibly making donations. Please stay safe, stay vigilant, and may God bless you, and may God bless America. Goodbye.